In the halachas of the day, we're holding now the halachas of tzitzis, סימן tes, halacha yud. If a person takes off his talis with the intention to put it on right away, even if he goes to the restroom, when he comes back and puts it back on, he does not need to make a bracha again. Because min hadin, a person is allowed to go to the bathroom, so therefore it's not considered, he's allowed to, as halacha says min hadin, he's allowed to go into the Beis HaKisi with his talis, so therefore it's not considered, the bathroom is not considered a hefsek. Now, if he had in mind, not when he took off his talis, not to put it back, and then he changed his mind, so the halacha says is he has to make a new bracha. Now, if a talis fell off a person while he's davening, obviously not with kavana, so if part of the talis is still remaining on his body, even if the majority of the talis falls off, since some of it is still on it, so therefore he does not need to make a new bracha. But if the entire talis falls off, even if he's still holding, let's say, the talis in his hands, so since none of the mitzvah is on his body, the mitzvah is that he has to, it has to at least be a part of, it has to be someone on his body, so therefore he has to go back and make a bracha again. If his talis falls off in a place that he's not allowed to stop, so like in the middle, let's say, Shemon Esrei or Shema, so you should not make the bracha, you should wait till he's able to make the bracha, and then grasp onto the tzitzis in your hand and recite the bracha. Next halacha, so just a little preface, the Gemara in Baba Basra says that a person who borrows without the owner's knowledge, if you borrow an object without the owner knowing about it, so the Gemara says it's considered you're like a ganav. Now, there's an exception to this halacha when a person borrows for the purpose to perform a mitzvah, and the owner will not incur any loss. So we can assume that the owner would be pleased that the borrower could use this object. Now, some go very far. Some Rishonim want to say that even where the owner explicitly objects to use, let's say the use of his talis, if it's not going to have any financial loss, then we really don't listen to the owner. Now, others maintain that if the owner is known to be somebody who would usually object, he's a very anal guy, so then he's not allowed to use it without asking specific permission. Others hold that even further, that nowadays everyone is assumed to mind, and so the Aruch Shulchan says is that nowadays you do have to ask. So with that in mind, let's explain the next halacha. It's Shulchan Aruch says it's permissible to borrow someone's talis on an irregular basis, even without his knowledge, and use it for a person's davening and to recite bracha over it, because we can assume that a person is pleased that a mitzvah is performed with his property. If there's no loss to the owner. If the article may not be removed from that, however, the article may not be removed from the house in which it was placed because the owner may object to that. If the borrower found the talis folded, he should replace it folded. But on Shabbos, he may not fold it, and it may be assumed that since the reason for his not folding is due to Shabbos, the owner will not object. One who borrows a talis from another only for the purpose of going up to read the Torah, so there's a halachic question if he has to make a bracha or not. Therefore, you should specifically intend not to acquire the talis, so then according to all opinions, you're not required to make a bracha. However, on the talis that belongs to the congregation, even if you take only for going up to the Torah, so then you have to make a bracha on the talis because it's considered as if it were yours.